So, good evening, fellow Nigerians. My name is Dr. Doris, your sister here again. So, I just want to lend my opinion to the hot topic going around the internet regarding an agency which was supposed to be from the presidency, but at the moment, the presidency has denounced it and declared it a fake agency. I saw a publication in the Punch newspaper. Let me see how SGF requested office space for fake agency, and it's dated 4th July 2026. That's today. So I looked at it and I read through it, and I saw the picture of the chief of staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, attached to the publication. But then the entire discussion is about the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. So I'm just gonna lend my opinion as well, as many people are publishing what they think or what they believe should be. I've read some people even calling for the resignation of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, some of them presenting it as a question, and all of that. So it's a public matter right now, and I'm also going to just lend my opinion. So I've looked through the publication of the Punch newspaper, and I've seen that the letter which the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation responded to from that agency originally had a reference, and the reference was HHSH/DG slash PFIPC slash RQ/107. And I know that SH is an acronym used for letters that emanate from the State House, because I've seen a document of that kind that emanated from the State House. I also know that the Chief of Staff to the President can sign documents that the President authorizes if the President approves, if the President directs. The Chief of Staff can sign a document on behalf of the President. The President may direct that someone should be appointed in an office. The President may direct and tentatively, pending ratification by the NEC, that an organization or agency should be created or approve its creation. And that communication will be extended or communicated or made through the Chief of Staff of the President. I've seen a document like that. I know that after the President makes such a decision on his own, he can present the matter to the NEC at an appropriate date in the future, and the NEC will ratify or decline. If the NEC ratifies, then that's fine. The organization exists or the appointment stands. If the NEC doesn't ratify, then the appointment goes down or the organization is shut down. So the Chief of Staff can create a letter on behalf of the President to create or approve establishment of an agency. So this is the office of the SGF, or the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, being presented with a letter that contains the reference of the State House. And prior to this time, there has been no rumor that a fake agency was parading about. So the SGF's office didn't have a reason to kind of wear an eagle search eye or a scrutinizing mind to check every agency that brought a communication to it. And it would be disrespectful, in my opinion, for the office of the SGF to see a letter where reference from the State House and begin to scrutinize it instead of taking action. So for the SGF's office to begin to scrutinize a document that purportedly came from the President's office would, in my opinion, be disrespect to the President. And the SGF is not supposed to do that. The office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation is supposed to help the president do his job. So, if a letter comes from the office of the president, it is the duty of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation to honor it first. And that is exactly what happened in the original letter. The first correspondence requested for office space, I guess, according to Punch newspaper, from federal government recovered properties, which I believe were in the custody of the, or in the control, or under the control of the EFCC. And that was why the letter had to be forwarded to the EFCC. The letter was duly referenced from the presidency, from the State House. The SGF was not supposed to decline or ignore that letter. In my opinion, the SGF was right. The office of the SGF was right to positively act on that letter. Then, afterwards, the office of the SGF, perhaps through its network of information gathering, realized that the agency being paraded as a presidential foreign investment promotion council didn't exist in the Federation. In other words, it was not approved by the president, neither was it approved by the NEC. So the AGF realized that the organization duped, or whoever was behind the organization duped the system. And immediately another correspondence came in relation to the same organization. The office of the SGF wrote a document, wrote a correspondence clearly stating that that organization didn't exist in the list of organizations approved by this country. That organization doesn't belong. So please desist from operating or working with that organization, and you may report it to the appropriate agency. And please, I am not speaking for the office of the SGF because I'm not a spokesperson for the office of the SGF. But I'm just airing an opinion as a Nigerian that also contributes from time to time to public discourse as this matter is. The office of the SGF in the first instance honored a letter from that organization or that agency in respect of the president. And you didn't expect them to disrespect the president by questioning or beginning to scrutinize documents that came from the State House. You didn't. I didn't. Of course, I would expect the office of the SGF to do that. And the person holding the office right now is not the kind of person that would do that. It's someone who has worked for so long in the public service and understands bureaucracy in public service. So he couldn't have dishonored the president by disregarding a letter that came or purportedly came from the office of the president. Remember, the chief of staff can, on behalf of the president, make communications. So this matter, if there is anything wrong about it, it's not on the office of the SGF that honored the letter that came from the president's office. And later, when he realized that there was something sinister about this document, he communicated. Immediately, another correspondence came. He communicated back to it that this organization is fraudulent, it doesn't exist, please desist from working with it or engaging with it. It is the same office of the SGF that raised the alarm. Please, those people who are trying to drag the SGF into this, and the person holding the office of the SGF into this, Senator Dr. George Akume, into this matter, are wrong. They're being very unfair to the SGF. I read some people even calling for his resignation, unfairly calling for his resignation or his removal for a matter that he has no part in the wrong. He absolutely, in my opinion, has no part in the wrong. What he did was fully respecting the president, whom he has been appointed to support to do the job. In the first instance, by honoring a letter that came or purportedly came from the office of the president. Then afterwards, the office of the SGF found out that this organization parodying itself is fake. And he quickly responded the next opportunity that he had. The office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation communicated back and said, this organization is fraudulent. And those who are trying to politicize this matter, I plead with you to stop politicizing it. This is not politics. Even if you disagree with the person holding the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation right now, he has no wrong in this matter as far as the documents which are in public domain testify. The office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation has no wrong part played in this matter. Instead, it was the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation that raised the alarm that now we know that there was such a fake agency that got an allocation from the budget and a grant of billions of public funds, which I believe the president is going to handle that. I just wanted to say, in my opinion, the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation is completely innocent. And those trying to drag the person holding the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation right now in this matter, Senator Dr. George Akume, in my opinion, is absolutely innocent on this matter. In the minimum, we should tell the person holding the office and the team in the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, thank you for exposing, for whistleblowing, because this is part of whistleblowing as far as I understand what that means for whistleblowing. So thank you very much for listening and watching this video. You may like to share it so that we will clarify. If you share my opinion, you may share this video so we'll clarify the fact, the wrong impression being paraded in public that the person holding the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation is or should be indicted in this, or has played a part in what appears right now as a fraud, as a public fraud. Let us share what needs to be shared and parade what needs to be paraded appropriately. Thank you very much. I remain your sister, Doris, Dr. Doris.